Good morning. I was interested in knowing if the Hungary-Ukraine debacle was true or not. And what I heard were that something happened in Hungary and they made a big deal out of it. And after that, I saw that Ukraine posted something, a picture about a drone that they say can come from Hungary, hovered over Ukraine, and then went back into Hungary. And that drone was supposed to kind of collect intel over what the Ukrainians are doing. So I just thought that was like a weird story. So I had to look it up and see what actually happened. And it turns out that Hungary is correct with what they are saying. What was the story? It was that Ukrainians patch decoy Russian drones together, but make them into an attack drone that they were planning to, was it like throw over the Polish border or the Romanian border? It's a made-up story that the Russians is attacking a NATO country like Poland or Romania. And Hungary, who has said before that, or everybody has said before that, Ukraine is trying to escalate this war into another NATO country. So NATO need to go in. NATO need to be dragged into this. So we actually have World War III. That is what Ukraine wants. And that seems to still be there, actually. They haven't changed at all. They haven't, like, I just feel like someone need to shake Zelensky up or something. I feel that this old way that we don't do any longer, but was very kind of common in the olden days when you kind of slapped a kid because they did something. I just feel like he needs like a slap of some sort to kind of get out of, and I don't need an actual slap, obviously, but he needs to get out of that. Like, stop escalating this, stop. Like, you need to go to the negotiation table. You need to stop this. Not what he is doing is that he like uses money, he uses resources, he uses people. They have to think all of this through. They have to implement it. They have to do it. They have to create. All of this takes money. It takes time. And he is kind of focusing on it. I don't know how long they had planned for it or um, how they execute it, and like building those decoy drones into an attack drone. That takes a lot of skill. That takes like the whole operation thing. They are broke, so we are paying for it, obviously, with the European money. So I can just see like a group of people. I don't know how many people you need to execute such a thing, but I don't think like 5, 10 people to do all of this and then kind of throw it over to the Poland side of the border, or Romania, or whatever country. I don't know who is on the left. Um, yeah, it seems like they are focusing on Poland and Romania for some reason. Are they? I don't know. Isn't Moldova? I don't know. So Hungary is right here, and they feel very proud to be right, and feel very proud to be the only country in Europe that actually sees this very clearly, and they have positioned themselves as being the watchdog. over Ukraine, because Ukraine has been, I call them the terrorists of Europe, because no one else is blowing up things as much as they do. They are like caught with explosives time and time again. Like no one else is. And we didn't blow up the Nord Stream. We don't escalate this. Okay, NATO tried with the drone fiasco, but we don't do what Ukraine does. Like they are like at the next level of, you people need to stop. Like you have been doing this since 2014. You, I don't know. I think if we go back to 2014, when, or was it 2022? Like how should we have handled the tension in Ukraine before the Russians got in and started like the the big war? Because there was tension, there was like the Ukrainian government were bombing, as they say, shelling the Ukrainian people that were 80% Russian, because the Russians in Ukraine didn't want to have like a Ukrainian or EU, pro EU government. So, and they called that side of Ukraine like old ladies that didn't know better. And that tension, now it's kind of coming back around again. And from what I remember, it wasn't much written about it, it wasn't much spoken about it, it wasn't much truth telling, like this is actually happening. And from what I've heard of people is, the ones that did write about it, those articles are kind of gone now. You don't see them any longer. What actually did happen in Ukraine before the Russians invaded. So it must be before 2022 then. And I just think that that is coming back around. Like we need someone that is kind of keeping an eye on what actually is happening in Ukraine, because they are doing the same thing all over again. And it's just escalation. And I don't know why. And I said this before. I don't get the Ukrainians. It is a lot of poor me. It is a lot of, I don't know. I don't know what's with them, to be honest. And it's just wanting so bad to not be left alone in some way, maybe. Why would that be a thing? I don't know. I just feel, because when Zelensky has shown himself, he's often with someone or a bunch of people, or he's rarely alone, to be honest. And it just feels like there is like a deep thing going on with the Ukrainians. They said in a documentary that, yeah, EU doesn't care about us, EU doesn't see us, EU doesn't. And the thing is, EU doesn't see Sweden either, but we're quite happy for it. Like, okay, fine, we don't care, we just give money, we like, but we don't care. That is why we don't go around whining that EU doesn't see us, EU doesn't help us, EU doesn't, we're quite fine. While the Ukrainians whine about it, that EU isn't there for them, EU isn't. This still feels like they're very young, they're very like teenage energy in them that really needs like a grown up person, a grown up that can I stare for them constantly over and over again, and I don't see that as a healthy thing for a country, for a whole population to feel that way. Maybe it comes from being like under like a Soviet thing, but I just don't see it with anybody else. Like the Baltic countries don't have it. So I don't know. This is going to EU is going to feel like Hungary is shaking things up, kind of stirring the pot. And they're going to try to downplay what Ukraine is doing. Hungary is going, yeah, no, they are like the watchdog now. They are like on it, and they feel proud that they are the ones that is going to call Ukraine out. Ukraine is going to feel betrayed, like Hungary really isn't with them. I could tell him or them that Hungary isn't with them. I couldn't like. Why would you think they are? That's just weird because they have been extremely clear with what they have been saying up until now. France is going to want to mediate. Like, okay, can we all just kind of get along? Germany is going to be more strategic, and Poland is going to be afraid of, because Hungary is going to be so clear minded. Hungary is going to be like, it's like pang, pang, pang. And it's hard for someone like Poland to go up against that. Like they don't really want to, so they're going to kind of take a step back, even if they would feel like they want to defend Ukraine or they want to in some way kind of, what do you call it, assert themselves. There is a lot of EU countries though that's going to like this because they don't have to be the bad guy for mistrusting Ukraine. So maybe they don't want to be the one that's saying it, but because of Hungary saying it, other countries might start to say, yeah, I think we should kind of pause things. I think we should be more, um, not necessarily put the on, brakes in, but they're going to be, and I don't say they're going to support Hungary, I'm saying something else. Like they're going to feel like it is okay to feel what they are feeling about Ukraine. And that is a pretty big shift. So even if they don't say it, even if they don't, they feel relief that Hungary seems so like they are setting their foot down. Like, yeah, no, we are not escalating this. We are not taking Russian drones, decoy drones, and making them into attack drones and throwing them over. I don't know, like launching, throwing, I don't know what you do, over to a NATO country. So that country is going to, I'm guessing, go for an Article 5. And Ukraine is obviously going to have all the media and events that would say that, yeah, no, you need an Article 5. And he's going to, because I think that Zelensky really wants to be right. I was reading his what he said this week about Putin is going to go and attack another country in Europe. And he really wants to be right, even if everybody else says, yeah, no, that is not his intention. And it's not his intention. It's like someone said, yeah, no, Paris is not going to be the next hit. I think we all find that, yeah, no, they are focused on Ukraine and Ukraine alone. It was an old issue that Russia decided they wanted to resolve like this. Right or wrong, I don't know. And Zelensky really wants to be right. So he is creating it because he wants to be right. So he has been saying all of these things and they don't happen because he is wrong. And so he has to do stuff for for it to make it look like he is right. So I don't know, watch what he's saying, and whatever comes after that might look like he is right. Yeah, that's a red flag because he's rarely right, to be honest. I know he really wants to be right, but um, he isn't. He doesn't see the world as it actually is. So, yeah, this is going to be interesting. Hungary is not backing down. It's a lot of tension between Hungary and Ukraine, and it's going to continue. And they Hungary has shown now that, yeah, no, we are watching you. There, it's like we are watching you, and Ukraine is going to feel like betrayed, and just, I don't know if they're going to go and do stuff towards Hungary. I don't know if that's a good idea. It would suit the Hungarian mindset, though. Like, do you really want to start a war, sneaky war with a European country? It sounds like Ukraine. It sounds like, yeah, no, but if you aren't with me, then, which I said, I think I said that. EU should think how they actually are towards Ukraine. And I don't mean endless support, endless. Ukraine, when they are bitter, they they create chaos for you. And I jokingly say that they are the European terrorists, or the terrorists of Europe. But it also, what is it, like 5 times now? And they do stuff like this. So I think Ukraine is going to be a problem moving forward. And I said that before. They are going to feel like they are left out. No one cares about them. And then, like, I heard a immigrant, I think it was like an article yesterday, when they spoke about we are changing, the Swedes are changing, can you please go back home thing. I don't know what's called in English, to 350,000 Swedish crowns. So if you want to go back home, we'll pay you 350,000 crowns to start over back home. And they were going, this newspaper were going, or this journalist were going to one of the more immigrant friendly places in Stockholm, I guess, and asked a man there, and he said, when he was when we talked about it, he said, yeah, no, you have to give the teenagers money so when they want it, because if you don't, they find it somewhere else, and then they are getting into trouble. And I feel like Ukraine is the same thing. Like, you need to give them money so they don't do anything they can't take back. And that is not a sustainable thing. They are not teenagers. They are not something that we should coddle. It's a country with people, and they kind of need to be accountable for what they are doing. And I think Hungary starts to feel that. Like, you know, we can't keep cuddling them. We can keep giving them money and just so they don't get into trouble. We have to hold them accountable for what they're doing. They have to be like, they have to grow up. Do they really want to start a war with Hungary that is both in NATO and both in the EU? And what are EU going to do? Like, it is a member state, and now Ukraine is going to go after them. And it's going to divide Europe. And maybe it's not going to be like a big thing, but it's going to be enough for it to actually shake things up. Because I don't think Hungary is going to be quiet. Like, they're going to be extremely clear, like be the parent here almost, or like the annoying aunt, or someone that is just calling out the kids that behave badly, like your teenagers suck or something. And EU is going to want to be the one that, yeah, no, that was not nothing, it was tiny thing. They don't know better, or they, here you have some money, don't go and do that or something. And I always think that Ukraine eventually will stop, and they don't seem to actually end up there at all. So I would be really surprised if they actually did stop at some point. And I don't know, at least not trying to escalate it. Like, can you focus on what you're supposed to focus on? And obviously, if they know they are losing, then, and you don't feel like you can't do anything, no one is there for you, no one is giving you money, guns any longer. Yeah, I don't know. Or EU knows. Maybe EU actually knows. I haven't asked. Maybe EU knows that Ukraine is doing this. I don't think so. I don't think, like, Kaya Kallas came to mind. Would she know? Would they say? I don't think so. But they would absolutely downplay it. I have to ask my card about that, but um, I don't know. It is a weird week we are headed in towards. And about the other drones, I don't know. I haven't asked about them either. Like, why are they hovering around? They don't do anything. So I don't know. Are they like decoyed drones, or is it just drones? Then I don't I don't see the fuss about it. Why should Russia do something like that? I don't know. It just feels like Russia is actually focused on the war itself and the election in Moldova, but they don't scatter like this. And then everybody tries their very best to accuse them of being this all over the place. But I don't think they are. I think they are focusing on the Ukraine war. I think they're focusing on trying to end the Ukraine war. And I got an inkling that there is actually something on the table between Putin and Trump, like an offer of some sort, or like, um, I don't know if that might come from Putin, might come from Trump. I'm not sure, but it feels like, because when I lay cards on them, they are like good. They are fine, those two. So whatever Trump is kind of saying online is not what what is happening behind closed doors. And eventually we are actually going to get to know what is happening behind closed doors. They're going to come out with something, or play the game of hinting or releasing some parts of it, and we just have to connect dots, which is usually more fun than just having the whole story, obviously. But there's something going on between Putin and Trump, like an offer of some sort. I feel like Putin feels like this is actually going to end soon. Like, they're working on something. They are like nightly meetings because the Americans are up when Russia is supposed to sleep. And the Russian president often do that when there is something up, when like he works late at night, when something is on the table. It's like something, um, yeah. So next week is going to be an interesting week. I keep laying cards on different people and different events, and the tower comes up in all of them. I think it's just so something is going to be shaking up next week for sure. Hungary is going to keep going. Ukraine is probably going to keep going with what they have, so they are going to clash, and then other countries are going to join, and it's going to kind of divide EU. France is going to stand there like, can't we get along? And no, we can't. And we need to end this because this is kind of destroying EU, and EU needs to be aware of it. Like, you can't keep giving Ukraine everything they want so they don't get into trouble. Hungary is not supposed to be the watchdog over another country like this, and other EU members are not supposed to feel relieved over that Hungary knows like the truth, knows what they are putting out there, knows like everything, and they're going to be really vocal about it. So I don't know if they're going to go after Ukraine even more. If Ukraine is doing even more stuff, I don't know. Is there like a um, agreement between countries to not tell on them? We know that you're doing stuff. We are just not telling on you, and this is kind of what do you call it? Like, this is that agreement is like no agreement here at all. We're going to tell on you. I think this is funny. So this was my video for today. Hungary is right. Ukraine is up to things which we all know. EU is going to downplay it, and the rest of the European countries are going to be divided. Russia and the Americans are up to something. Uh, offer a negotiation thing. Russia need to be nice, like, and I think they know that at this point. They need to be nice, like be the nice guy. Like, it's the thing that's coming back around, and the Americans need to be the driver, need to make sure that this is kind of moving in a direction that everybody wants go towards, which is peace. It's hard work. It's not something that is just happening overnight. But I think the Americans, I'm actually proud of the Americans. You don't seem to give up, even if I understand that they don't like this. They don't like the hard work. They don't like the ground thing. They want to go in and go out. So this takes a lot of effort for them, and they need to be the one that tells tells it what it is, um, puts the deal on the table. They need to be the driving force and kind of push the European leaders into the negotiation. And Russia needs to be nice. That is the dynamic right now.